Hey everyone, it's Julie Young for Korean American Story and Not Your Average. Today we are on location in Chelsea and we are with Douglas Kim and I have a super special co-host today, Noah O. Are you excited to be here?
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Sure. So you majored in economics?
Yep.
So if you knew you wanted to be an actor?
In college, I didn't know quite then yet, like on a conscious level. I was always kind of like wanting to pursue acting or even just entertainment. I think it was kind of like early church skits or doing just like musical things in high school that like really inspired me.
So did you love it at that age, but you just didn't have the like guts to want
I
to
didn't have
do
the
it?
guts. I didn't even know how that even looked. Like how would I even? Because like my kind of mindset was like all like academics.
Right.
So I didn't even know like what the steps were to like
Yeah.
go into acting. I was like, what does that even look like? But also during that time, I was playing poker.
Yes,
somewhat
we heard about that,
professionally.
didn't we?
Yeah.
Professionally. So I got good enough like throughout my college career to like make a decent amount of money.
And then you're in the World Series of Poker.
That was in late July. So in that summer, I had already kind of like secured a job for September start date. I kind of like was of the mindset of I'm gonna probably quit doing poker because I'm gonna be busy doing that. But I kind of was like, you know what? Why don't we have one last hurrah before it all ends? But yeah, I was pretty excited to go, and I just kind of like was expecting a story. I just wasn't expecting to go far or anything like that.
So then, and you win 7th place.
Yeah.
Right? And because when I first heard the amount that you won, I just assumed it was like 2nd or 3rd place, knowing
Yeah.
nothing about this, right? And then someone told me, no, it was 7th place. And I was like, what? Because you won
$2.4 million.
$2.4 million
Yeah.
for
So
7th place.
First place was $12 million. So that was like, so keep in mind, this is the biggest it's ever been.
So what do you want to ask him about that 2.5?
So you used it to produce your show?
Oh yeah, so I mean not all of it, but I used a portion of it to produce the show that I created, Just Doug. But I think like 2014, I had an audition where it was for like an Asian American guy, and that was it was a pretty significant role. It was for a series regular on a TV show. And I remember being really excited about the audition. I prepared a lot for it. I go in and the casting director was like, oh, just let me see what you do and whatever. And so I do the audition and she's like, oh, I really like your type. You remind me of like a Seinfeld-like character, but I already know they're not gonna cast you. And I was like, oh, okay. She's like, oh yeah, they're looking more of a jock type of Asian. I mean, like a lot of actors obviously get rejected for X, Y, and Z reasons, but like, I think it was just kind of like because the amount of roles are so slim for like Asians in general, and to hear that you're not even qualified for this one role that comes around every 5 years. I mean, obviously it's different now, but that was like my mentality at the time.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like frustrated, and you know, a lot of things were weighing on my mind as well. I had just turned 30, and like a lot of my, you know, Duke or college or New York or contemporaries were doing like crazy things with their lives. And so I kind of like was in this very depressed mind space where I binged a lot of Netflix and I came across some shows that were about storytelling of like the very small, minute kind of moments in life that bring out the humanity in all of us. Even after I started writing, I saw Master of None and all these other kinds of shows that were kind of like, hey, what is kind of like universal about our experiences, and what how does that make us all kind of relatable and make us the same despite, you know, where we're coming from or our different experiences. Yeah, that was kind of like my headspace, and I was just kind of like, okay, let me just try to write like kind of stories that I think are poignant in my life that I think people could glean from.
And had you written before that?
I had taken some screenwriting, like little courses, but nothing like significant.
Okay.
And so that's why in 2015 I teamed up with a writer who's now staffed on The Good Doctor. He's also a Korean American.
Nice.
and we wrote the pilot together over the course of 9 months. And then at the end of 2015, I went into production of it. I was just kind of like, I need to do something, because like if, you know, I need to figure out if I'm even a good performer or a good entertainer. Maybe I'm just trolling myself. Maybe I just think I am, and like, because as an Asian American, there's no way to really know, right? Because you're not given the opportunity to even like fail or like work or like do your art. I mean, like yeah, I guess you could do theater stuff or whatever, but like, how are you going to get that feedback to like improve as an artist? And like, that was one of the frustrating too. Like, not just even, you know, having a career, but not even like knowing how to improve or not how to like have this like community that helps you grow together. It just felt like you're by yourself on an island sometimes in LA just trying to make it happen. And you know, that's kind of like one of the double entendres of the Just Doug, like he's just Doug.
We're gonna do it again. This time, can we try it with a more ethnic verbal approach?
Do you want to be next William Hung? Or do you want to be a Two Broke Girls?
Fresh off the boat, Dr. Ken. You guys are in right now.
It's Hollywood. We all get fucked in our own special way.
Gao Ming Mong, gotta go pee pee.
Oh, no? Oh. Let's do the hug. Great. All right.
Have you ever been asked, like, in an audition to do, like, an Asian accent?
I have. There was a thing that never was made, fortunately, I guess. But it was like I was supposed to play some like North Korean translator or something. I was like, I don't even know what a North Korean sounds like. I don't.
They're like, either way, just give us an accent.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I did like my worst, I guess, Korean. I don't even do the Korean accent pretty well. So like, I don't know. I'm just trying to think about what my dad sounds like, but.
Well, so Noah couldn't watch your web series because it's not really appropriate.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But you do deal with that issue,
Right?
Right, and which, first of all, the series is amazing.
Thank you.
It's so well produced, and the whole thing is just amazing. The acting is amazing. The writing is amazing. Everything is amazing
Thank you.
about it. I want to see more. In fact, like I went to sit down and part of my research for this to like watch it a couple weeks ago, and I was so bummed that it was only 36. I was like, wait, what? That's it?
I'm a little bummed
Like-
myself, not gonna lie.
Like, I really hope that somehow we get more. But you deal with that topic, right? Like where the
Yeah, so I did not, I mean, like a lot of it is made up from experiences that I've heard from people on set and stuff like that. So I never came across that particular scenario myself. But yeah, I would say that like we did like the way we portrayed it, because it's not like this thing where it's like, do an accent. Well, like I feel like now people are like more realizing why it's a thing, but I think, you know, in the reality of Just Doug, I think it was a little before, like even this year, where they don't outright tell you to do an accent, but it's like, hey, let's try this approach. Let's see what that looks like. Let's try it. So you're like already on set, you're already there. It's just kind of like, I mean, that's kind of like the business where, you know, it's not just Asians. It's just like anyone who's in that spot. It's like,
sure.
do I have a job, or do I just go with it, whatever, like. And so it is this kind of like unfortunate thing that I think still takes place in the industry. I think because of Crazy Rich Asians and even like the Me Too movement and stuff like that, things are changing, but there's still like instances where I feel like actors, because they feel pressure to just keep their job or get a job, they have to like just conform to these standards, because it is very I mean, like I am extremely well off. Like I'm probably the 99% like of top, I guess, like materially of like actors or whatever, and I'm still kind of like, what am I doing with my life? So I can only imagine for like people even like without that financial security, like I just need to get this job, you know.
So, like, how do you feel about how Asian actors, like even the ones that are out there, are limited to the really, really smart guy or the martial arts guy?
Yeah, I think Hollywood in general, they try to cast extremes. I think everything is just kind of like, how do we push this to the extremes? So I think in the past, it always has been that geeky Asian guy, nerdy guy, whatever. But now they're like, oh, we need to be more woke now. So let's cast a super hunky Asian guy or whatever, like you see in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
Where's the guy in the middle, right? Where's the room for the...
It's Doug!
And that's, yeah, so it's funny because that's actually one of the things I was thinking about when I made my show,
Yeah.
right? When they heard the note, oh, you're not a jock type Asian.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm not like really a super nerdy, geeky type Asian either.
Right.
I'm like in between. And like when you're seeing Hollywood, you don't really see Asian Ted Mosby being cast for anything. That's, I don't know, I feel like I fit in that kind of wheelhouse a little bit. It is a tough thing because I don't think organically it will happen until Asian Americans are more in control of the narrative and they create those kinds of things where like, hey, we're just like normal people. So I feel like that's one of the things I'm trying to kind of, I guess, correct and just like show the whole spectrum of different Asian American experiences myself.
Do you want to ask him that signature question?
Oh yeah, what would you tell your 12-year-old self?
I would tell my 12-year-old self to take more risks. Not for the sake of taking them, but be willing to try things that you might not be willing to try at first. What doesn't kill you? You know, that sort of thing.
Okay, so I have 2 signature questions. One is, tell me something about Doug that nobody knows.
That nobody knows.
The easier one is, tell me something about Doug that everyone knows.
Jeez, I don't even know about that. I guess people know that I play poker, I guess.
Okay.
People know that your name is Doug.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good one.
All right, obvious.
Something not a lot of people know about me, I guess, is, you know, one of the occupations I was throwing around, you know, before I landed on acting. I was like, oh, maybe I'll be a school teacher.
Oh, interesting. And who knows?
Who knows? It might end up happening still.
Well, Doug, I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thank
Noah,
you
thank
for
you
having
for
me.
co-hosting. You were awesome. I'm excited for whatever is coming for you in the future.
Thank you.
Just based on Just Doug. Everybody go watch Just Doug. It's on Facebook. Facebook Watch.
Facebook Watch.
Facebook Watch. It's amazing. So let's support it and like tell everybody about it.
Cool.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.